Britain's Deputy Prime Minister is warning rebel lawmakers they could leave Britain isolated in the EU's future. Conservative MPs who are in the governing coalition sided with the opposition in defying Prime Minister David Cameron by voting for cuts to the money Britain hands over to Brussels every year. Let's now talk to Paul Nuttall, who's a Euro MP from the UK Independence Party. Now, Paul, is Nick Clegg right? Is the UK moving away from Europe?
Well, the UK is certainly moving away, well, the people are moving away from Europe, shall we say. If you look at recent opinion polls, 80% of people want a referendum, so around 60% of people actually want to leave the European Union altogether. So the people are certainly moving away. The political class, that's another debate. I mean, I think what Nick Clegg has said is quite right, actually. We can't repatriate powers unless we have an iron fist behind us, and that iron fist has to be a referendum on our membership of the EU, and then we can invoke something called Article 50 of the Lisbon Treaty, which means we can then start negotiation about what we can repatriate back to this country.
Now, how welcome is David Cameron going to be in Brussels later this month? What do you expect him to say?
Well, I think Cameron's already shown his hand. I mean, if I was going out there and wanting a bargain, what I would say is that I want a clear reduction, a cut in the EU budget. What he's saying is that he wants a freeze, which in effect is really a rise. It will go with inflation. And I think he's shown his hand already, and what will happen is that he will talk hard, and in the end he will come back and we will lose again, and the British people will end up paying even more money to Brussels.
Now, as a Euro MP, tell us, how much money does the EU really need to go about its business?
Well, the budget last year was £129 billion, which is a crazy amount of money. The problem that you've got is that austerity doesn't exist in the European Union. It might exist in the member countries where we're asking to cut back on almost everything. We have real austerity. Out there, money doesn't matter. They spend more and more every single year. The budget goes up, and member states, including states such as Greece and Portugal and Ireland, who are in serious trouble, will be asked to put their hands in their pockets and give more to Brussels. It's wrong.
Now, large parts of the EU budget have been failing audits for years now. Where does all the money go?
Well, that's a good question. I don't know, and it seems as if the European Union itself doesn't know. 17 years it is now since the accounts have been signed off. Look, if the European Union was a company, then the directors and the chief executive would all be in jail, but it's not. It's corrupt, and that's another reason why the British people want that referendum and want to leave.
Now, weaker Eurozone states are struggling to stay afloat. Spain is verging on a bailout, but the UK is not in the currency union. However, it's still paying into the troubled region's coffers. How much is the currency bloc relying on wider EU states?
Well, the currency bloc certainly relies predominantly on Britain, actually, out of the states which aren't in the currency, and we pay somewhere to the tune of around £50 million a day just to be members of that club. That doesn't take into account the mega amount of money, the literally tens of billions it costs us to comply with EU directives and regulations. So it's burdensome on the British people. It's something we're not happy about. It's something which we want a referendum on, because let's not forget, the last time we voted on our membership of this organisation, it was the EEC back then, was 1975. I wasn't even born. I was born in 1976. We deserve a referendum, and we want to say on this issue.
All right, Paul Nuttall, Euro MP from UK's Independence Party, thank you.